Well, yep, that is Portlandville completed. On to Ladram Bay next. So just leaving or approaching the exit of Portland Island. Some really nice little townhouses on the way up and down into Portland, and quite a few pubs as well, so if you do like a beer or just pub food in general, you won't be short of finding somewhere, that's for sure. There's also a couple of supermarkets, so you've got Lidl right on the entrance, and then when you get up to the top there's a Tesco superstore, as well as a few smaller co-ops, Tesco Expresses type thing. There's plenty of choice of food. Now for the fun bit. So on the way to Ladram Bay there were quite a lot of narrow country lanes, which had I have been in a bigger van it would have probably posed a little bit more of a difficulty. But I did the NC 500 in Scotland last year, so I'm well versed in driving around country lanes and having to reverse half a mile to find somewhere that you can pull in safely. Just something to be aware of if you are in a bigger van. Plenty of passing spaces, of course, but depending on what's facing you the opposite direction, you might find yourself reversing quite far. I've put a bit of speed on these next two clips so you don't have to watch them in real time, but these lanes, for an experienced and a confident driver, wouldn't pose too much of a threat. But if you are a little bit apprehensive about driving on narrow lanes, it might be worth looking at a different route. As you can see, there is cars coming on quite a regular basis, and even stationary traffic as well. Not for the faint-hearted. Well, just about arriving at Ladram Bay now. Quite an enjoyable drive, similar to when I did NC 500 at Scotland, with roads being really tight. Quite enjoyable, quite like a good challenge. Sometimes driving gets a bit boring, doesn't it, when you're just driving on the motorway, so to be able to take some narrow roads and some manoeuvres, it's always good fun. And yeah, we arrived. First impressions, looks quite a modern site, doesn't it? Arrived. All the pictures look like the good pictures as well, which is always a good sign. Well, that were fairly straightforward check-in. Just come to the man at the hut, and he's sent us back up here on the right hand side to pitch 110, which apparently is right bang in the middle. So hopefully that's right here, I think.
bit up there.
Yeah. What? What?
What did you do then?
That's what £2 gets you in Ladram Bay. Better than the 15 quid fish and chips. Well, it's about 3 o'clock and I'm heading off to do a bit of paddle boarding. I've never done it before, not sure what I'm going to be like. My balance is atrocious, so yeah, might make for some funny viewing. Well, decided to come out kayaking instead because the guy that rents the equipment said that paddle boarding were a little bit dangerous at the minute because the tide's on its way out. So he said if you've kayaked before he'll let me out on the basis that I'd be able to get back in, but obviously paddle boarding I've never done it before, so it were a little bit of a risk. So around Ladram Bay there's quite a few nice coves, so I ended up taking the kayak just outside of Ladram Bay, to the left if you were looking out to the sea, and I found this really nice cove where there were a few standalone cliffs and things like that in. The water itself quite shallow because there were quite a few stones and things under the water, so you did have to be fairly careful, and it did create a little bit of a rip in the water, which created some nice waves actually to kayak over. Just be careful if you've never kayaked before, just making sure that you're hitting them head on and not sideways, because that's where you do kind of lose your balance and then topple in. So after kayaking, which were really good, heading down to get some food from the coast takeaway, I think it's called, on site. I think I'm going to end up getting steak pie and chips because I had fish and chips yesterday. And yeah, let's see how that ends up, but if it's anything like the rest of the experience so far, it'll be very good. So I did get the pie, but I also got scampi because I thought I'd try something different. Well, them fish and chips, or they want fish and chips, scampi and chips, were top draw. Really, really good, and really well priced as well. I think it were about £7 or £8. Can't complain. Now just heading off for a walk with a pooch. I'll have to go and try and find some sunset and just relax, and then think about what I'm going to do tomorrow. I do fancy doing paddle boarding. My mission was to go surfboarding, but I've obviously not found anywhere to do it yet, and I've got to be careful leaving Tiger in heat by herself. So yeah, maybe that's on the agenda for later on this week. But I've had a really good day today, really, really good day. The last couple of days have been good, so hopefully the rest of the week will just be as good.
and then I can get back to Leeds, back to the grind, and then I think I've got another month or so before I'm away again. But then I'm only going local to Hebden Bridge for a quiet weekend. So yeah, this is my summer holiday in theory. Look at them views, I don't know if you can see. Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, Cithy. Well, it's not quite what I imagined it to be. I thought we'd be more on the beach, but still quite a nice place to spend your evening. One thing I've learnt is round here as well, it's really quiet. On an evening, there's not really much going on. Not in a bad way. You know, people are obviously at home, settled, whereas, you know, living in the city and on the outskirts, there's always a light on somewhere. It's quite nice just to get out and enjoy a bit of me time, a bit of peace and quiet and that.
Well, back after that walk, we ended up going to the on-site bar and just having a beer before getting back to the van to go to bed. I'm going to nip and have a quick shower and then decide what I'm going to do tomorrow, because the weather seems to have changed a bit. It looks like it's going to rain until about 3 PM, so we might end up having to go and do one of the indoor activities that's at Ladram Bay, so maybe swimming or just go for some food or something indoors. But it shouldn't be a big problem anyway. We've got the canopy on the van, so we can always sit outside and just relax if we have to. But the weather's said it's going to be raining all week, and it's not raining, so hopefully it'll just be another incorrect forecast and we can have some nice weather or just clear weather and get out and about.
A little bit embarrassed to say that I didn't get up till 12 midday today. What on earth is going on? Oh god. Oh well. At least it's fairly good weather.
So here I am repping the Ladram Bay merch. What would I rate this site out of 10? I would rate this site out of 10 an 8 out of 10. I would definitely return again because the site's just fantastic. The facilities are second to none. On-site fish shop, on-site supermarket, 2 restaurants, a bar that turned into a bit of a disco at night time. They've got a swimming pool, they've got crazy golf, they've got play areas, literally everything that you need. I described it earlier as a bit of an upper class Butlins, so I'd definitely stay here again. Only things that let it down really, price for certain people I guess, it's quite expensive. I tried to book for next June for 2 nights camping online and it came up about £134. Not sure if that were right or wrong, but it looked like it were right because it were going to let me book and pay for it. Obviously dogs not being allowed on beach is another thing, but just one of them. I guess it's their own private beach they're not wanting to ruin. And yeah, that's probably about it really. So I'm very happy, and I would come back again. But now, obviously, off to Tower Park, see how that stacks up.